Hey, what's up? This is Brian back with my next video in my series about how to use the internet safely. Now, in my last video, I talked about a number of the ways that website owners and software vendors try to make money from you on the internet. Now, the reason that I talked about these is because these money-making schemes have a direct effect on the way that you use the internet. Now, some of these money-making schemes are obvious, whereas others hide behind camouflage and pretend to be something that they're not. Some are completely safe and pose you no threat, whereas others can be very dangerous and they can damage your computer and they can scam you out of money. Unfortunately, it's not that easy to tell what's what when it comes to the internet. So in this video, we're going to explore the first of the money-making schemes that I talked about in my previous videos, which is donation-based websites and services. I've got some very good examples to show you, as well as some very important lessons that you're going to learn along the way. Now, the first example is Wikipedia. You've probably heard of Wikipedia before, but if you haven't, it's a free online encyclopedia that's updated by its users and a panel of expert editors that keep the content authentic, accurate, and well cited. Wikipedia also happens to be completely donation-based, so let's check that out. Now, I've already opened Wikipedia's English language homepage, and the first thing that I notice is that there are no advertisements and there's nothing asking for payments. But if I look a little bit closer, Wikipedia has a Donate to Wikipedia link on their primary navigation area, as well as a Wikimedia shop. And if I click the shop, we'll notice that they just sell Wikipedia branded merchandise in here. If we explore the Donate to Wikipedia link, we see a pretty typical donation page. It contains a brief message from the founder, Jimmy Wales, and it contains a form asking us how much we want to donate, how often we want to donate, and how we want to donate. Now, in my experience, learning how to use the internet safely is all about recognizing patterns. So take a little bit of time to explore the Wikipedia donation page. Wikipedia is a very popular website with a very popular and positive public image. People trust them, and I think it pays off to internalize some of the features of a safe donation-based site by using Wikipedia as an example. Now, the first thing we talked about is the prominent donation link on their homepage. If we go back, we note that it's one of the very first links on the website. The main page, contents, featured content, current events. Now, this is all primary content for Wikipedia, so yeah, that should come first. But Donate to Wikipedia is a very close second. Now, after that, we talked about the fact that they have a very positive public image, and that's something to bear in mind when you're trying to decide if a website is safe. What do other people think of them? Have you heard of them before? Do other people you know use them? With Wikipedia, that's absolutely true. They have a very positive public image. They're known to be quite accurate, and that is despite the fact that you still can't use them to cite a college paper. Another thing that we talked about is the fact that they have no advertisements on their website. They're not mixing and matching their revenue streams. They are strictly donation-based. They also have a donation form, and they have a call to action from the site's founder. Now, obviously your mileage might vary, but these are features to look for when you're trying to determine whether or not a website is donation-based and whether or not it's actually safe. Next, let's look at Khan Academy, and I've already loaded up khanacademy.org in my web browser. Khan Academy is a free online learning tool. Now, it's not as old and entrenched in pop culture as Wikipedia, but Khan Academy is still a very well-known and highly regarded resource in its own right. If we go to the Khan Academy website, we can immediately see how they get their funding, the big Donate tab at the top. If we click that link, we see a very similar page to Wikipedia's. There's no ads, there's a donation form on the right-hand side, and a call to action from the site's founder. What's more is that Khan Academy prominently displays their IRS nonprofit status. We can see that right here. While many free sites and services aren't going to have nonprofit status, it's certainly another item to add to the list of evidence for a site's legitimacy if they do. Well, last but certainly not least, let's take a look at a program called Cam Studio. Cam Studio is a free screen recording tool. It's completely free and donation-based, but there's definitely some lessons to be learned from the website and how the software is presented, not just by the author, but by search engines as well. If we search for Cam Studio on Google, the first thing we're going to notice is that there's multiple download sites in addition to the official website. Now, you're going to run into this for any program that you try to download from the internet, so it doesn't really say anything about the legitimacy of Cam Studio that this happens. But what you need to remember is that you should always use the official download site when it's possible. And let me show you why. Now let's look at the search results here. The very first link is to camstudio.org, which is the official site. The second and third go to sourceforge.net and cnet.com. Now, these are two generally safe providers of free software. But we also, further down the page, we have softtonic.com. Now, I don't have much experience with softtonic.com, but I've got a gut feeling about what we're going to run into when we click this. Now, the very first thing that I notice is that we've got multiple download buttons. Now, when I see a website that intentionally tries to confuse me as to which button to click to download the software, that's a big red flag in my mind. We've got free download right here. We've got free download here. We scroll down a little bit more. We've got another one. We scroll down a little bit more. Who knows? Maybe we've got another one. They just keep going and going and going. So let's just go ahead and click one. Why not? We'll see what happens. Brings us to another page. We've got the free download button here. We've got an alternative download. Let's go ahead and click that. We'll see what happens. Why not? Now it wants us to install Adobe Flash Player. I don't know why that's happening, but we'll go ahead and click install. Why not? We're doing this just to show you what can happen anyway, so I'll install anything that it tells me to install. I'm also noticing down here at the bottom of the screen, it's saying, do you want to run or save Softtonic Downloader for Cam Studio? Now, when I'm downloading software, I generally don't expect to see some sort of downloader. I just want to download the software itself, not software to download the software, which is basically what's going to happen. But let's assume that I don't know any better. I'm going to go ahead and click Run. Here's Adobe Flash again, blah, blah, blah. And really, I'm just showing you an example of what happens when you click and install without really reading instructions or thinking when you're using the internet. Get rid of Flash Player, and now what we're seeing is the supposed downloader for Cam Studio from Softtonic. Now, I could read this, but gosh, that's an awful lot to read, right? That seems boring, so we'll just click Accept. And now it wants to download and install Real Player, and it's going to do that by default. So, sure, why not? PC Speed Maximizer? Sure, why not? I like PC speed, right? Yeah, we'll leave that. We'll click Next. And now, in addition to Cam Studio, which I only assume is going to be installed at some point here, I'm also getting all that other software that I talked about. And now finally, here's the installer for Cam Studio. Click Next, accept the agreement, accept the installation location, the camera codecs for Cam Studio, we'll let it install those. Click Next, 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 and install it. Now, what we're seeing here is that we just ran the install, and meanwhile, while we're doing that, Cam Studio is down here downloading and installing other stuff. And here goes Real Player. Sure. Now, Real Player wants to install Google Chrome. It wants to install Google Toolbar for Internet Explorer. See, now I've got multiple layers of bundled software downloading that I didn't anticipate. So sure, we'll do that. Why not? Now that's downloading some stuff. And now, once again, we're at the end of the download for Cam Studio. And now I'm getting Windows errors from something called pcreg.exe. It's apparently still doing its business back here, downloading some stuff. It's installing something. Who knows? Okay, so all these installations have finally finished. Now, I've got all these programs automatically popping up on my computer now. I'm going to close them. And now let's take a look at the state my computer's left in. All I wanted to install was Cam Studio, but look what we got in addition to that. We now have Google Chrome. We now have Real Player. We now have something called PC Speed Maximizer. Well, at least we got Cam Studio Recorder. That's great, but we also got all these other things. If we go into Control Panel and look at our program list, now we've got Adobe Flash, we've got Cam Studio, Google Chrome, Google Toolbar, PC Speed Maximizer, and Real Player. This is all stuff I wanted. I downloaded, even though all I wanted was Cam Studio. Now, this is what happens when you go to these free download sites. You might get the software that you want, but they make money by bundling all this other crap along with it. Now, just out of curiosity, I'm going to go a little bit further down this rabbit hole and see what happens when I click PC Speed Maximizer. Because any program that tells me it's going to speed up my PC by cleaning up my registry or some other voodoo like that, I'm very skeptical about that. I have a feeling, it's scanning my registry. It's finding all of these things that it can fix. But the fact of the matter is, this is a brand new installation of Windows. There are not this many problems on this computer. But hey, why not? Let's see what happens when I click yes. Now, lo and behold, it wants me to pay. Yeah, I'm not going to pay for this. I didn't want it in the first place. That's absolutely ridiculous. So anyway, now you've seen exactly what can happen when you go through a third-party download site to download a program. So now, I have the luxury of having a backup of the way this computer was before I installed this. So I'm going to backtrack to that, and we're going to look at the legitimate download site for Cam Studio. So now that we've explored an alternative download option and discovered why you should avoid them like the plague, let's go to the official website. Now you're immediately going to notice the donate button, but we're also going to notice that the site serves ads as well. Here's an example. Generally the ads are safe, but during my testing I found some ads that were not, and they resulted in ad-ware being installed on my computer if I clicked them. Now I'm not mentioning any of this to pick on Cam Studio. It is a quality product. But you need to be aware that some sites and some programs will mix and match their revenue streams, and you need to be aware that even a free donation-based product like this can pose some problems if you click and install without thinking. Now, once again, I'm going to create a backup of this computer, and I'm going to explore this ad up here, just to see what happens. Okay, so if I click this free Cam Studio download link, which goes to freedailydownload.com/camstudio, let's see what happens here. Now, once again, I've got a giant green download button. Sure. Now, note what it said below that. It said, clicking this download button begins installation of Install IQ, which manages your Cam Studio installation. Additional software may be offered to you via opt-in ads during the installation process. So, here we go. We've got another run or save down here at the bottom. We'll click the run, and we'll see what happens. Now note it's Install IQ is preparing your installation. It's not the Cam Studio install itself. And once again, we'll just click accept. We've got, it wants to install Yahoo Toolbar apparently. Let's click that. Consumer input by Compete Incorporated. We'll install that. Accept. Sure, why not? We'll accept. We'll accept. We'll accept. And when this is all done, we're going to see exactly what happens when you don't read instructions while you install stuff. Now, my installation is complete, and look what happens. Now my Internet Explorer has toolbars. I'm getting Arcade Parlor, whatever the heck this is. Let's go ahead and click that. Closed. Consumer input. Who knows what that is? Let's take a look at what all has been installed on my computer. We've got Cam Studio. We've also got Arcade Parlor, whatever that is. We've got PC Optimizer Pro. So let's just, for the sake of this example, let's click this. Now there's an update to that wants to install. For the sake of not taking too much time, I'm not going to do that. But it's scanning my registry, supposedly. And once again, this is a brand new installation of Windows, so it shouldn't be finding all this garbage. I'm going to click Clean Now and see what happens. Oh, lo and behold, it wants to install and pay for the full version. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. That's ridiculous. And again, this very, safe looking tech support chick. Nope, we're done here. We're done here. And now it's going to pop up and tell me I've got all these problems all the time too, of course. While we're at it, we've got this arcade parlor. Let's see what that is. Opening a website. I have no idea. Just games I can play, apparently. I don't know what's going to happen when... But it's going to show me ads, apparently. That's fine. Now, finally, I'm going to open Internet Explorer here. Now, it's changed my default search page. That is another thing that I absolutely can't stand. So, you've seen all the terrible things that you can happen now when you click free download links and you don't pay attention to what you're doing. Now, finally, let's go back to the original download link from the official website for Cam Studio and see what a normal install of a program looks like. So now we're back at the official Cam Studio page at camstudio.org. If we scroll down a little bit past that god-awful ad, we can find the official download links. Here they are. Here's the Cam Studio desktop screen recorder link, and here's the link for the Cam Studio lossless codec. Now you'll notice that download goes to SourceForge, and SourceForge is a trusted website. Anything that comes directly from SourceForge, you can be pretty certain is safe. Let's go ahead and click the Cam Studio link, and notice down at the bottom, Cam Studio Setup version 2.7.2 is downloading. There's nothing about a downloader, none of that garbage. We'll click Run. And we'll click Next. You can read this if you want to. This one actually is pretty brief. We'll accept. And notice how quickly a normal installation of Cam Studio goes. It's a small program. It shouldn't take 10 minutes to install like the other downloads did. Alright, we're going to close that. Finish. Now let's take a look at my desktop. What else has been installed? Jack Squat. We've got Cam Studio 2.7. That's the only other thing that I see on my start menu. If I go to Control Panel, what's new under there? Only Cam Studio 2.7.2. That's how a normal installation of a program should go. There was no additional bundled software. There wasn't a bunch of new crap on my desktop. There's not a new toolbar in my web browser. It did a good job. It installed what I wanted and nothing else. Now that we've seen some examples, you should be able to identify the qualities of donation-based software and services. You should understand that some websites use multiple revenue streams, and some donation-based programs can still be problematic if you download and install them without thinking. In the next video, we'll explore some other money-making schemes you might run into on the internet and how they can cause you problems, and we'll explore how to avoid them. Catch you later.